are you on?
Um,
Where are you streaming from?
the usual.
The Zealot hockey one? It's not live.
Yeah, I just was notified that by Tom.
Oh, you thought it was live like this whole time?
Yeah, pretty much.
GG. Oh, there it is.
Oh, is it live now?
Yeah.
All
Fuck,
right.
it just.
Thanks, Blitz. I guess we're live now. It's good to know.
Oh, there we go.
Beautiful. So we'll redo that. Tom and I are just getting acquainted. Not a problem. All right. So there's the draft board, everyone. You can see.
So we're about to start. So good luck.
All right. Thanks, Blitz. Good luck to you as well. Well, good evening, everyone. This is Sly, and you have Tom on the stream as well. We'll be co-casting your Season 9 Zealot Hockey League draft. And Tom is not muted, Nova. He just has not spoken yet. Tom, want to introduce yourself?
Nope. Yep. How's it going, everybody? Hope you guys all enjoy watching this draft as much as I do. Yeah. So let's get
Perfect.
started.
Nova, let me know if you can hear him. I think you should be able to, but just in case. Anyway, we were just looking at this draft board and thinking about who the owners are. Obviously, you've got Perplex with the #1 overall pick, aka King Louis. He will be leading the Tarsonis City Tigers. And looks like you are good, Tom, on the volume, I think. New Gettysburg Flyers will be led by Stealth. He's got the 2nd overall pick. Both of those players are 4th round position, structured by the league managers. The Zeros Redlings will be led by Mr. Alert Eyes, also a 4th rounder. With the 4th overall pick, Nova will be leading the Ire Storms, and he is slated to draft himself in the 2nd round. Watermelon will be leading the Sucurus Inquisition with the 5th overall pick, and he's a 1st rounder, of course. The Chaldeer Yetis, Swift, will be manning the ship, and 2nd round overall value, Mets with the Korhal War Pigs, and 7th overall, and a 2nd rounder himself. Finally, last but not least, it is Tanks leading the Zen Freeze, and he is a 1st rounder. Good for him. So those are our 8 teams for the ZHL. And those are your 8 owners. Tom, what do you think of the owners, where they're placed, and in terms of their positioning overall?
So all these owners have some sort of experience with leading teams. At least Swift and Mets, this is their first ZHL team, but Mets has a lot of experience with Banjo. Swift, he's told me of other experiences leading stuff. So, but yeah. So they all know what they're doing for the most part. But in terms of positioning, we got one of the big interesting things of this draft is in the first 4 picks, there's 4 expected players. There's Rush, Vapor, Proster, and Linking, and we're gonna try and figure out where these guys are gonna end up.
So, Tom, I don't know if you have the board up, but the live board from Blitz shows Rush going #1 overall.
There we
To Perplex and the Tarsonis City Tigers. And we already have the #2 pick from Stealth. It is Vapor. So Vapor will be on the Flyers again, apparently, on Stealth's team. So a very interesting decision by Perplex to take Rush #1 overall if this is really happening. It says it's the real... Okay.
If you could send me that link so I could get live.
Yep. Let me do that.
But anyways, I'm honestly not that surprised of Rush going 1st overall. Been playing out of this world in in-houses, and won last season. He has a lot of experience. And Vapor apparently isn't going to be consistent on making all of the games, or Rush is has one of the best attendance. And we see Proster go right now. Another not really a surprising pick. So the biggest shakeup there is Rush 1st overall. I'm sure he's proud to get that position. It'll be his first time going 1st overall.
Yeah, congratulations to Rush. I'm not really sure how much he wanted to go #1 overall, but he is there, and so even if you don't want to be drafted that high, it's still an accomplishment, obviously, to be valued as such. So we'll see what Perplex does on the back end of the 2nd round, coming back to him. The 4th overall pick is Linking, obviously, not a surprise. Nova going with the one of the other top 4 players that we were assuming would go. Watermelon
Whoa,
obviously going to get skipped, and then really quickly, Swift picks Gorilla. Really interesting pick in my opinion, but Mets going with Blitzerg. This is might be a quick draft time.
Yeah, this is going by quickly. Some quick notes. So Stealth has played with Vapor in the past. Alert has played with Proster. I'm not sure if Nofus played with Linking, but all of those teams should make pretty interesting lineups. A really big interesting pick in Swift picking up Gorilla. Swift generally has a defensive focus, and Gorilla has always been known as a defender. Swift kind of went forward last season, or at least wanted to a lot, and he did have some good production, so it'll be interesting to see what he makes of this lineup. Blitzer being passed up by Swift goes to Mets and instantly picked by him. Another interesting pick, and now Tanks is left with an interesting choice of going with a couple of players. From what I've heard, he's been talking to 3, but anything is up in the air. And yeah, 3 is going there.
There it is. It is 3. You were right about that. Good call. And yeah, Swift defensively sound, that's for sure. And I believe the interesting thing, Gorilla not locked as a skater, right? So obviously considered a pretty good defensive skater, but could also goalie if necessary.
Yeah. And then Watermelon grabbing Mythic. Talking to Watermelon earlier about this, he was thinking about Mythic because one, he's a West skater and it complements Watermelon being West. And Mythic, kind of one of the few like perma defenders left in the season here, or in this season, and it'll be interesting to see what Watermelon can do with him. Kind of train him up. He said he wants to make him the West Blitzer, so we'll see what happens with that. Interesting pick.
Yeah, obviously it makes a lot of sense for Watermelon with the league structured the way it is. Double headers, you've got 1 home and 1 away, and that home team gets to pick what server. So Watermelon could play a total of 7 West games this season if he wants, at least at a minimum, with his home games. And so Mythic is a pretty logical pick there. We'll see if Chaotic is still available, and maybe he'll swing back around to the Shakuris Inquisition. Or although in the 3rd round you would want a goalie. Assertive is a West goalie, pretty solid. So if he's still left, we'll look for that for Watermelon. You were just drafted. Congratulations. You are on Proster and Alert Eyes' team, the Xeris Redlings. Your thoughts?
Yeah. I'm pretty happy about that. I've never had the chance. I did have the chance to play with Proster in Season 2, but I was very new. I was still a pro, but I didn't really get to play with him. I've always wanted to get a chance to play with Proster, and it should be interesting. Honestly, I'm kind of, I don't know, I'm kind of glad I fell far. I've been kind of out of sorts, so it should be interesting.
Yeah, I mean, all you guys needed is a goalie, and that's a pretty solid team with the way Alert Eyes played last season. If you can keep that up, Proster being what I'm told he is, then really good team actually. We'll see who you guys get as a goalie. Though coming back in the 3rd round, you're gonna have a pretty good choice of the goalies. So you guys look to be in pretty good position. Pretty bullish on the Xeris Redlings. So Stealth taking his time here. Got a lot of options. He's probably also considering who he wants to take in the 3rd round, as it'll swing back around to him. It is a snake draft as usual, folks. So Perplex is going to have 2 picks after Stealth goes, and then it'll be back to Stealth. No surprises really, other than Gorilla, I guess.
Yeah, that kind of shook things up a bit. Stealth has a couple options here. He could go Bulbasaur, who's played with Vapor in the past, and they both play very well. He has Quackster still available, who I think has a lot of raw talent, just kind of has a personality. Just a little thing. But, I mean, could kind of do a couple of, I don't know, there might be a couple of stretches. You might be able to reach for a goalie here and try and grab the best goalie in the draft before it gets to the turn. So
yeah,
a lot of options for Stealth. They're going to be talking it over.
That might be a decent option, actually, considering you would assume that Perplex is going to draft a goalie with one of those 2 picks. So, well, he does go with Quackster, the solid skater, and so he'll have to pick the 2nd best goalie likely, and Perplex is going to have time with his 2 picks. Yeah, it would have been interesting to see if Stealth reached for a goalie there, but I don't know that you want to do that, considering, not to rag on goalies, but there aren't that many, and their value is I think less impactful than a really good skater, in my opinion. But nonetheless, you need them, and there aren't very many. So we'll assume that the third round will be filled with the goalies. What do you think about? Obviously, you've got Assertive, you've got Ruckel, and a couple other pretty good goalies. Halo's up there. What do you think about the goalie situation this season?
I mean, there's not a lot of really experienced goalies or people that you always think are going to be goalies. We do have TK coming back, though I think he kind of a skater, wants to skate. I'm not 100% sure on that. But the best goalies in the draft, I think, are Assertive and Ruckel, and I'm pretty sure they're going to take Ruckel here, just because of the friendship with Rush and Ruckel. I don't see them being passed up on that. Other than that, going deeper down the list, you start running into goalie problems once you reach the second half of the draft. You might get a little bit of inexperience or a little bit of, some questions. So it should be interesting to see what goalie solutions teams like the Calgary Ready, Score, Hall, Warpigans, and Freeze will come up with.
Yeah, we'll see. Perplex taking plenty of time here. He does have 2 picks to work out, so he does get a little extra time with that. And he might be using his extension. We're not really sure, as we're not privy to the conversations in the owner Discord group. You've got some interesting lock players this season. So you've got Sir, pretty good player, and Yoda, both really solid players who are locked this season. Carlito locked again, and other than that, it's about it. But pretty valuable players who would normally go really high, and I'm not really sure how far they're going to fall. But considering that you do get to play 8 games out of the 14 due to the double header format, it's really closer to 60%, and 8 out of 14 is still pretty impactful. So interesting to see how far they slide being locked, and if players reach for them late in the 3rd round or early in the 4th round, just to round out their team, and get in the playoffs and then use them in the postseason for 2 games.
Yeah. Here we got to pick Bulbasaur and Ruckel. Not really surprising picks. Bulbasaur is probably the best skilled player in the draft that's left. And though he does have that little bit of a ban hanging over him, and as I said, Ruckel, the friendship pick, not gonna fail. And that's a rounded out team right now. And we're gonna be getting to Vapor, Quackster, and Stealth. They have a couple options in goal. I think they're gonna try and go for an East goalie to keep it an all-East team.
Yeah, really interesting pick in Bulbasaur. I don't know how well he and Rush play together, but both pretty good players. Bulbasaur banned for the first 2 games, but other than that, I think he'll have first pretty good attendance. Well, we got another pick. It is Assertive. So you were right about the first 2 goalies going. Pretty good calls already here, Tom. You're making some good calls. I don't know. You should have submitted your mock draft to the Sur's pool. You would have done well.
Yeah. And then, honestly, with this pick, I expected honestly Marker or Elder Sage there, but I think I don't know. Dash has a different temperament to them. I think they might be looking for that. Stealth has played with Elder Sage and Marker in the past. I'm not sure if they've gotten along. And right now, I expect Marker or Elder Sage here. I don't see a lot of other options that you could reach for unless they go for a surprise goalie pick. I haven't really talked to Alardize about this, so it's all really up to him and Proster right now.
Yeah. Obviously, I don't know how good TK is at skater, and I don't know his mentality, but in seeing him goalie a few games, he's pretty good. And with the talent you guys already have on the team, it'd be really interesting if you had that quality of goalie. I think probably one of the more skilled goalies in the draft, if he wants to goalie, would really make your team, in my view, pretty tough to beat. But you've got some other good goalies out there. Halo had a pretty good second half of last season. Elder Sage obviously was really solid for almost all of the season on a tough team. You guys sort of had a tough season. didn't go the way that you guys had hoped, obviously.
Mhm.
Yeah, other than that, not really a whole lot of options, I guess. And Alert Eyes is going to be
Uh,
taking his time here.
yeah.
What about what's his face? The G. I've seen him goalie. He's actually pretty good.
Oh, Art. Yeah, Art. I mean, the big thing about Art is you don't know what's gonna happen with him. Um, he's a West player. He doesn't really practice a lot. He has a lot of skill, but he's gone missing a couple seasons, so it should be interesting. And yeah, Alert Eye is really thinking this stick over. Um,
Yep. Giving Nova plenty of time to think about who his pick will be, of course.
yeah.
Um,
Uh,
Go ahead.
Yeah, no, with this, heck, that'll already finish up 3 teams, and then we get to the back end of this draft where all these guys only have 2 picks. So I'll see a lot of shakeups here coming up. And I'm really looking forward to some surprising picks in the fourth. I think once you get back around, because you have some locked players that you don't really know what's going to happen with them. It's really tough to gauge their value. You also have European players, and I hope some European players make it into the fourth round this season.
Yeah, it should be
And
interesting. Your point about the completed teams is a good one. Obviously, those are pretty well-rounded teams, and they got the first 3 first-round picks too. So some serious value there. There was some chatter about some demand for reversing the draft order in one of the rounds. I think either fifth or some other round, just to sort of try and balance it out. Not really sure how helpful that would have been, but some players were interested in that.
yeah, I've heard some talk about reversing like the fifth or sixth round, just so or kind of get some balance on the opposite side of the board. Get a better backup for a kind of for a team that doesn't get that inside corner where you get the best skaters and the best goalie. You know.
Right.
So and wow, pick is taking a while.
He must be using some extensions. Oh, there it is. It is Marker. So after all that deliberation, pretty conservative pick there. Marker, obviously the winning goalie last season, and so that's your goalie, Tom. How do you feel about your team? You're starting 4.
Um, Honestly, I'm pretty excited. Biggest question for that team is defense. I think Proser kind of favors playing a when I've played with him in the past, I played with him on the 3K tournament. He kind of favors playing a playmaker role where he also plays defense. And he'll just kind of let me and Alert Eyes and try and feed us. But I think we're gonna have to work on some rotation. And with Marker being picked, I've played with Marker in the past. We've had fun together. We've had a blast. So be fun.
Yeah. Okay. That sounds like we're not getting the full story, but that's all right. We'll move on. Nova, obviously, his Irish Storms have a pick here. All he's got is Ling. Got all the other players with four players. So really important pick here. To me, coming in, Nova had the best draft position, just because he sort of has everything out in front of him right with this pick. Things are pretty clear to him now. Does he want to get really solid goalie and one of the top 5 goalies, or to me he almost could wait for it to come back around to the 4th round to draft his goalie if he wants to secure a better lineup in terms of his skaters, because that the guys behind you, the 3 players who just picked, Perplex, Stealth, and Alert Eyes, aren't going to get to pick again on the way back. So really interesting draft position for Nova. I don't know if I'm right that that's the best position, but seems like to me you're at a really critical junction in the draft for Nova right now.
Yeah, I mean, this is a really important decision, and it will definitely, uh, yeah, I don't know. It's one of those. I think a lot of players in this position or owners in this kind of position right here, uh, favor taking. But what is the safer option of getting the better goalie? Because goalies are a really big part of the game, um, and if you don't have a goalie, you like take example last season with Zara Sedlings when they had Gigi Popper as their main goalie.
Mm-hmm.
Things can fall apart even if you have a solid skating lineup. So I don't know. I really don't know what Nova's thinking here. Uh, and honestly, I think he's going to be asking Linking what he wants. Linking might be asking or be looking for. Um, yeah, I don't know. This is a part of the draft where it gets uncharted territory for me.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right. It is up to sort of Linking and Nova who they want to skate with. That's also one of the considerations they have to take into account. While you could certainly get a solid goalie here, um, what you've also got to consider is that there are definitely going to be some skaters taken. You got to sort of find that cutoff to where you don't want to wait too long to grab another skater, your third skater, because the skill gap might be at a point where your fourth skater isn't really as talented as the other team skaters, and so then you're going with some matchup issues.
That's I would never have guessed that pick in a million years.
Um, okay. Why did that happen?
Okay, that's good. Good stuff.
For you? Wait, is that
You know,
serious or is that a troll pick?
you know what? I don't. The Zoki, the future.
Okay, wait. He's got to be joking.
You know,
Yep. He copied it wrong or something. No doubt. Thanks, Blitz, for that. It was a good laugh. Poor Nova about had a heart attack. Blitz obviously needing to troll out of boredom while he waits for Nova's pick here. Nova is not picking Zaki or Zoki, however you want to pronounce it. That poor guy will be in probe, almost no doubt.
but that was the hero we needed.
Yeah. Well, yeah, he could have been the Shaft Man of season 9.
Shaft meme.
Shaft Man still going strong. His public fame is not diminished whatsoever. And to no one's surprise, Nova taking plenty of time here. He must have used at least one of his extensions, so still waiting on what he does. In the meantime, only got
So
yeah.
I mean, we could kind of get a head count of how many goalies are left. Blitz is moving stuff around right now. So Dark Angel goes there. So they did opt for a skater here.
Well, so actually, yeah, I want to come back to that head count because I don't know much about Country Ken, and he's not goalie, and supposedly he's decent. And as I thought would happen, Chaotic just went to Watermelon, and so now they've got the West All-Stars there. And interestingly, Watermelon's going to have to wait to grab his goalie until the 4th round. So we'll see who's left in a second. Country Ken just went to Swift, so obviously Country must be pretty good, or Swift has got the inside scoop. But Dark Angel, to answer your original point, Tom, actually in his sign-up said that he preferred goalie. I don't know how good he is at goalie, but if he is decent, you got a pretty good combo player in Dark Angel as a goalie and a skater.
Yeah, I mean, we get the Splash Brothers again with Mythic and Chaotic. They were together last season. They somehow managed to get together this season. Except this time they switched to where they were drafted, with Chaotic going in the second, or was it the second round last season, or third round? Anyways, Chaotic went before Mythic last time. This time Mythic goes a full round ahead of his brother.
Yep.
Country Ken being drafted, a West goalie going to a kind of central team. Gorillas East, Swift is in Texas. Country Ken used to used to have a lot of problems on not West servers. So we'll see what happens with Country Ken in this upcoming season. He's also been missing for a couple seasons, but at one point he was probably the best goalie in the game by a good margin.
Oh.
With that, we have a couple of goalies left. We have Elder Sage, Halo, and we have who else is left? Are you opted into goalie?
I will do either. Yeah, I assume I'm gonna get drafted as a goalie. So
we have who else? I'm forgetting names.
looking at the board,
We got Sid the Kid.
Sid the Kid. Yep.
So yeah, I mean the options for goalies are kind of low now.
Yeah. Sir could goalie, right? I mean, he's locked, and he's probably gonna
Yeah.
skate. But Sir's a pretty solid goalie, actually, from what I've seen.
Yeah, no, Sir's a pretty solid goalie. I used to use him a lot as our backup goalie in season 5 when Reimer wasn't around, and he always did a good job. And he wasn't even like maining it though. I mean, if he'd put his time into it, I think he'd be a really good goalie.
Really not much else though.
Yeah, this is another situation. You're right on the turn. You know that Tanks wants to take a goalie. I think they're gonna go. I think they're gonna take Elder Sage here. That's why I'd put my money on. And then because he's a consistent goalie that shows up for pretty much every game, he can kind of play both servers. And then it leaves you with one less preferable skater pick. If he has more than 2 options for skater, which I think he does, he could take any of the elite European players. He could take any of the locked players and still be in a pretty strong spot. So I'm guessing he takes Elder Sage here.
That's true. You could also, I don't know if Art is trying to play goalie this season, but did pretty good in that tournament. So I guess Elder Sage and Art probably the best 2 available.
I forgot about
and TK, that's right.
Yeah, another name that went missing last season. Did try and get back in at the very last second. That's a name I completely forgot about, and I think that leaves Elder Sage for this team. Though Elder Sage, he could be left behind, I guess, which would pass him off to Watermelon or Nova. Who I know you mentioned Dark might be goalie, but I think Dark's still in that position. He might be a better skating option.
Yeah, I mean, it's just good to have the flexibility. But if Elder falls all the way to Nova, I guess it wouldn't really be a shock for him to take him. But as you said, I would assume Watermelon would grab him. Water probably not assuming Elder would be there, so pretty good win for him. Although I think, isn't Elder East?
Elder is East, yeah.
Okay, well.
Oh, they take Halo.
No, it's Yoda.
Oh,
I think.
I see Phil and
Blitz is sort of struggling here with the boxes. Okay, so it is Yoda. He wasn't struggling. He was just showing us that he's locked with a little teal check mark for whatever reason. And so it is Yoda getting chosen even as a lock player. So interesting choice by Tanks. And Tanks is also going to go with Sir, another lock player. So 2 lock players there. And it's going to be a long time before Tanks picks again. So I guess he's not worried about who is going to goalie for him.
Need a goalie. Yeah, they'll figure it out on the other side.
Which actually, in his position, I think is actually probably a pretty smart move.
Mm-hmm.
You've got really solid players in Yoda and Sir, who are not going to be there every game, but also in the playoffs, right? You're going to have at least one of them for probably all the games in the season, or in the series rather. And then you've got 3 in Tanks who are really solid, normally first-round players. So pretty good team. They just need to hope that a goalie is still there. You know, the other teams probably not going to pick a goalie other than maybe Ire and Shakuris. But with how few goalies there are, there might be some thoughts of sabotage here. I don't know.
Yeah. With those 2 lock skaters getting picked, there's a couple of other locked options here that Mets might try and grab before anybody else does to try and really get a strong lineup that can take a good amount of games. Whereas a stronger lineup that could pretty much guaranteed to take games. With that would be like Carlito. Would be the last really big power player that's locked. Dust Devil, kind of. He showed he had a lot of skill last season.
Yep,
Yeah.
that's true. Yeah, Carlito. You do have a couple goalies left, so I really like what Tanks did, actually. I think. It's easy to say now. We'll see how it turns out. But, I mean, you've got Halo still there. You've got me still there. You've got Arch still there. So a couple goalies that are, still there unpicked, and going with those two players is seems like a pretty good move, actually. Zach Smack, as far as skaters to Mets' team, I would assume, as you said, Carlito and maybe Zach are in the running for this pick.
I think Zach might be the best player that's on the board that isn't locked. And he has, he's been a top player in the league. He's starting to, with this Sunday schedule, he'll be able to play every game, I think. Unless I'm misremembering his schedule, but he's usually been able to play Sundays, which is a big thing for him.
Yeah. I mean, you can also get Tyrion or Slide, obviously the Eurostars. What about Peter? Obviously, Peter, a pretty good player, though tormented last season in the playoffs, but overall, pretty good player. If you're Watermelon, do you think about waiting for your goalie? I mean, because everyone else has already taken him, right? So do you wait? Do you pick Peter there, another West player, and really stack your team, or how do you think about that? Because I mean, I guess you already have your three skaters who are going to be there most every game, so probably go with the goalie. But just a thought.
Yeah, I think he's going to be grabbing a goalie in the upcoming pick. I think with that Watermelon Mythic Chaotic, he had a team that shows up to pretty much every game. Consistent team that could all of them. I mean, they're definitely West favored, but they could play on any server.
Who was Ayer's goalie last season?
Lightning.
No, it was Entropy.
Entropy. Oh,
that's right. It was Entropy. So yeah. Okay.
See, I connected Nova with Ayer on that.
Yeah.
So he's switched
close.
His teams.
Lightning obviously locked as a skater this season, so you won't get the finalist Lightning goalie option. But that's interesting. So you replace Watermelon replace Tudis with Watermelon, and then they've got to take a goalie probably in the 4th round. So we'll see if that team is better or maybe slightly worse than the Ayer team last season, but probably better due to the server situation.
Yeah. Bets is taking a while here.
Sir just said in the chat that I have 2 cheat engine tabs on his taskbar. What a felon! Yeah, I just noticed that. Interesting. No, I don't cheat in anything other than single player games, and it's not even cheating. Really, what it's for is NBA 2K. Back when I used to play NBA 2K a lot, I would edit the like shot percentages to lower it to more realistic percentages that are more in line with actual basketball to make the game fun. But it's a lot of effort to do that.
Like
so
75% three-pointers?
No, actually I lowered it to like 43%.
Yeah.
Because all of them are at 50% to start out, and it's ridiculous. You've got I played my friend Mark in NBA back in college, and oh my gosh, I would play with what's his face? He's a white shooter, really unathletic. I scored like 50 points with 4-minute quarters on him, just shooting threes with that guy. Anyway, Carlito Lock Skater gets picked by Mets, and so that rounds out his team. You've got Blitzerg, Mets, Town Crier, and Carlito.
And an instant Meepo mark.
Wow. Dang, that's interesting. Meepo locked at skater. I mean, I don't know. Meepo, is he that good at skater? Maybe he's improved. Interesting pick.
This is what I see happening is Meepo go perma-defense and Gorilla and Swift fly forward to be the new offensive all-stars. Calling it.
All right, well, he's going to have to wait a while to get his next pick, and Country Ken is sort of a question mark goalie, so interesting pick by Swift to get a locked skater there and Meepo Mart. Nonetheless, I won't say anything. I'll reserve judgment until I see the team play. So, and now it is Watermelon on the clock.
Yeah, no, I mean now there's still two skaters that I think have really been passed up in Peter and Zach Smack, and it looks like the G art is being moused over by Blitzerg. Honestly, this would not surprise me that Watermelon and Art have quite a history together. They play with each other season 4, season 5, and I think season 2.
Yeah.
Season 2 is when Art came on the scene and was taken in by Watermelon. So yeah,
interesting history there. Yeah, I mean he played really well, I think, in that tournament, and I've seen him play a couple of in-houses as goalie. Pretty solid. So not a very surprising pick here, if that is the route Watermelon elects to take. Looks like got some mouse action from Blitzer, but nothing definitive. So. And then you've got Nova again, who I'm not really sure what he's going to do. Another really interesting... So it is Art, as we figured it would be, and now Nova with another really interesting decision here. Does he grab another goalie, or does he go for a skater? You're starting to see, in my opinion, the pool of talent for skaters starting to dwindle here. So, and obviously goalies are important, but at the end of the day, you've got to score to win. So, of course, he has Ling, but still, skaters are a little more important, I think. So you start to think about Zach Smack here.
Yeah, one thing that's interesting is that no matter what, this leaves either Peter or Zach Smack up to Perplex, who gets the next pick. And with Peter giving a West option for Perplex's team, Zach kind of, honestly, I think more experienced skater than Perplex might be taking over that spot there and rounding off that team.
So if you're an owner, what do you know, if you're one of these fourth round owners and there might be a skater who is sort of close to your skill level, might be better than you in some cases, how do you handle that as a owner, you know? Like, how, is it easy just to set aside your pride, or do you sort of bench that player and just go with yourself? What's been the consensus in ZH history?
So in the past, you know what? I'm gonna pass on talking about this.
All right, not a problem. Zach Smack just went to the IR Storms. I assume then by your non-answer that we've had some owners start themselves when they shouldn't have. So we'll look at that in the coming season. So your non-answer said it all, I think. We've got Perplex now back on the clock. He only gets one pick, having to draft himself in the 4th round. Swinging back around, he's got plenty of options. Doesn't need a goalie. Obviously, he's got Ruckle. As far as skaters left, I am looking at... what about Diaper Baby? Peter. Okay, that's obviously a pretty good pick.
Yeah.
GG, obviously goalie last season, but assuming he's going to skate this season, decent in some pubs, but his personality, from what I understand, is a little bit interesting.
Yeah, no, he's a fun character. He's fiery. He has a lot of passion. But he's abrasive. Yeah, that's GG Popper. Stealth, I really think they're gonna be taking a European player here. Honestly, I think the best pick here. They could be taking Slide. Slide has a lot of experience being a goalie. And also he's an amazing skater. So when they're on East, they could maybe start Slide in net instead of Dash if they don't really if Dash isn't around, or if I don't know. Dash, if he's having problems with lag.
Wow.
Nope, there goes an East goalie in Elder Sage. So same idea, but they went.
Right.
They didn't have to go across the server for it.
Right, exactly. So Elder Sage and the East goalie. So now they've got two pretty solid, pretty consistent goalies, one on West, one on East. though their team is Quackster's East, I think, right?
Yeah, he's east. He's far east. He's New York
Okay, so
City.
that's still pretty much an East team, but pretty good goalie on West. And Vapor, obviously, and Quackster are going to be effective wherever they play. So
Yeah.
that's Stealth's team. Pretty solid lineup. And we didn't really get to talk about Peter going in the 5th round.
Peter's kind of been falling behind, and then with how things ended last season in his final series, took a morale hit. But I still think he's a really good skater. I think it really he complements that team well, being a West skater, being able to come in on West. Actually, look at this: Peter and Perplex in the same spots, or not the same spots, but in the same, pretty much the same spots. They're on the first pick side of the draft on the same team. They're gonna be the complementing East and West skater. How about that? How cute. But yeah, I think they'll be going East-West with Peter and Perplex, which is a good choice.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. And you've got Bulb, Rush, and Ruckle, obviously 3 really solid players at their positions. So might be a pretty Tarsona City might be a pretty formidable team. We'll see. You've got Alert Eyes up. Any hints on what your owner is going to do, Tom?
I honestly have no idea. There's I said in the past I really like European players. I think they're really good. I'm not sure if any European player could actually take off one of our spots though.
So what do you do with your team? From what I understand, it's a pretty Central or East team, right? So how do you compete with, for example, Watermelon's team? Can you go out and get a player right now that'll help you,
The way
or
that
is
we
it just
compete
what it
with
is?
Watermelon's team is put Proster on the ice. I mean that's the thing is we have a team that can play West right now just because we have Proster. If he practices, he doesn't really even need to practice. He's that good. It's always been kind of a thing with Proster in the past, at least. I'm not sure how it'll carry forward in this season though.
Okay. Well, then no need to go out and get a West skater here. So interesting decision for Alert Eyes. If he wants to get another skater. I'm not really sure who the best available. Probably one of the European players. Got Slide, Tyrion, Sanji. Played really well in Probe, though perhaps not as good.
He had a couple games in ZHL on my team last season. It's kind of tough though. We never really had a rounded lineup around him. We had 3 offensive each time, so it didn't really work out.
Right.
Sanji doesn't really defend. That's the big problem.
Yeah, I gotcha. Yeah, I remember those games actually. Yeah, that's interesting. Surprised Shaftman hasn't been taken yet. I expected him to go first or second round. There were some owners in the owner chat guaranteeing they would take him just to sell jerseys, but he's still there, so not sure how far he will fall, but we'll see. Lightning Skater. Lightning, I don't know how well he competes with some of these other skaters left. Obviously, you would take the European players first. Other than that, though, you would think that someone like Lightning might get selected. You still got Dust Devil there, although he's locked, and he said he did not want to play ZHL, which is interesting. And then you've still got Halo left, if someone needs a goalie, or myself.
Yeah.
Sid is there.
I mean, I also mentioned I've been talking to Alert. I mentioned you could go with a West player. Try and complement that West Proster, and Alert Eyes is kind of West.
What about Kyle Ken? Obviously, I don't. Did he have attendance
Kyle-
issues last season, or was it?
No, he's Kaioken. He's kind of quiet. He doesn't really communicate with his team. He shows up for every game. He doesn't practice as much as he used to play. He used to play all the time, and he used to be a first round player. But each season he's kind of fallen back just a little bit. He's not really the premier defender he used to be. So he doesn't really fit any of the roles anymore. I think you don't really know what Kaukin wants to do, so it's a risky pick.
I gotcha. All right, well, we should be getting a pick from Alert Eyes momentarily. He's used plenty of time here, warranted with where he's at in the draft. As far as really talented players who are going to be impactful in your team, there may not be so many left by the time it gets back around to him late in the 6th round. So, pretty important decision as far as getting some active players. What about Proster's attendance? I saw he signed up as 75%, but with the way the signups work, there's 90+%, which is like you're essentially telling everyone you're going to be there almost all the games, and there's 75%, which is some weird gray area in the middle, and then obviously 50% lock. So I'm not really sure. 75% could mean a lot of things, obviously, but it is Slide who goes. Not a huge surprise.
Yeah. Actually, I don't think I've played with Slide. I've played with a couple. I've played with Slide in like in-houses. I'm not sure if I might have had him on my team one season. I don't think I did. But he's always been like a really good skater. I've played against him a lot. Had my pro teams get beaten by him a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, it was no fun to go
really
up
good.
against him in pro last season. That's just not fun. The pro skaters really stood no chance, and obviously was pretty good in the playoffs for Nova's team last season. So Nova might be a little disappointed that he went there to Alert instead of to him again. But nonetheless, he'll have to make a decision here with his 5th pick as Slide is taken. I don't know. You still got Tyrion there.
Yeah. At this point, I mean, it's still kind of a guessing game. You kind of have to see what the owners are looking for. They still have Halo here. Halo could be like that backup goalie if Dark Angel doesn't work out. Makes it a pretty strong East lineup. Yeah, I think that'd be a strong pick. Or you could kind of go for maybe Dust Devil, kind of get some sneaky offense.
It's going to be Lightning.
Lightning.
So yeah, Lightning skater. So I guess they're pretty comfortable with Dark Angel goalie. There is Halo very quickly being taken by Watermelon.
Yeah, so that's a really good pick by him. Getting a East goalie, limiting Art's games, because I don't know. I don't think Art shows up all the time. And then we got Vile. Swift going with a very interesting draft, and he instantly wanted his picks every time. No waiting for Swift. He's had a pretty strong draft plan, it looks like.
Yeah, well prepared. And Vile, who I've seen in a couple of in-houses, not very much of though, so I'm not really sure how good he is, but obviously good enough to be taken by Swift in the 5th round as a locked player, at least according to Swift. So, and it is Dust Devil now going to Mets as a locked player, lock skater. So Mets now with 2 locked players. It'll be interesting to see how that works in the playoffs. Obviously, with the question marks in Town Crier at goalie,
Yeah.
his attendance and his overall level, we're not really sure due to his absence in the past. But nonetheless, it is Tanks now. He's gotten another 2 picks in the 5th and 6th round. Think he's going to get a goalie here?
You never know. They didn't take Halo off the bottom side. If you want to let them know. But hopefully he gets a goalie.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's going to take me, honestly. Yep. There we go. I like this team.
Yeah. Lots of banjo there. 3 banjoers. Though banjoers don't seem to get along a lot of the times. I'll say that.
Yeah, well, I can confirm that's very true. But ZH has a way of bringing everyone together. So I think we'll be all right. Sir and I have not had the most friendly past, but he seems to be behaving himself well enough in Zealot hockey. So it is what it is. Be interesting to see what he does, what Tanks does in the 6th round. If he wants to get another goalie, in case I suck, or actually I'm not really sure who he'd take as goalie, so that might be it for goalies, really. Still some good skaters, actually, from what I've seen. You got a few out there, handful out there who would be pretty interesting choices. Kygo, actually, not that bad. He led a probe team last season to not too successful, but he had a good season himself, I think.
Yeah, I think Kygo is honestly. If Kygo doesn't get taken in the next 3 picks, I see Kygo going to Watermelon. Kygo has like a lot of potential. I talked to him a couple times last season. Like he's really. I talked to him actually a lot last season with kind of the probe problems of that team. But I've also watched him on. He's really good. He just needs some coaching, and I think Watermelon can give him that option.
So I think in these picks you want to, if I was an owner, I'd be looking at activity as well as skill level, pretty much to be the most important thing I'm looking at with these picks. Just because, if something happens with one of your players you took earlier, you want your team to be practicing and to be active and to be, a unit that's, together and there for most of the games or all the games. So. Thinking about players who are more reliable here, I think is pretty important.
Yeah. And I mean there are a good amount of reliable skaters left. Just off the top of my head and looking at the draft board, you still got I Spy Gecko. You saw, even though he's European Tyrion, you could have reliable. Muffin Man, always reliable. If Muffin Man somehow makes it across the board, he's going to Perplex no matter what. Those two have a special bond.
Huh. Very nice.
It's good stuff. Lots of friendships in Zealot hockey. Dagius has been around a long time. I wouldn't call him super reliable, but he's pretty good, and he's one of the better West backups you could get. Carp's a strong skater. I already mentioned Kygo. Restrel, pretty good skater. Just needs to show up.
Yeah, it's interesting with the expanded number of rounds here. Obviously, you've got the 7 rounds for ZHL, and with the separate leagues, that's all you got. But you do have 7 players on your team now, as opposed to, I know you had more with the combined leagues, but a little different format. And so you've got these dedicated players who are going to be there and eligible no matter what, with no concern about if they're playing or in probe or not. So definitely favor this system in my opinion, and I think it'll be good for some of those players to maybe get more ZHL playing time than they otherwise would have. A player like the Music, hopefully getting up there in the next round or two, getting some PT, some players like that who can make an impact.
Mhm. Yeah, I'm really curious on to see what Tanks picks here. They kind of have it as that backup if both Yoda and Sir can't make it.
Yeah, I'm looking at Tyrion. Tyrion's still there. Obviously, pretty good player.
It's a full East lineup that they have right now. I think Tyrion is the best pick, but we'll see.
Yeah, you can't really get a West player to help you enough to beat these other teams at this point, so might as well just go all in, I guess. Although, I don't know. Gigi, not a bad skater. Isn't he West? I think he's West.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So, maybe not the worst
he's
pick.
a good skater, yeah, he could make goals happen, make stuff happen.
Um, Other than that, yeah, I'm not really able to predict what comes next. But ironically, I think that we're going to be spending more time in the next two rounds than we did in the first two, which is interesting to think about. But the owners had time to prepare the last few days and probably weren't thinking as much about these last two rounds, though they might become pretty important. You had some pretty late picks last season make big impacts on their team. Shaftman obviously being one of those. I think myself, even though I wasn't very good, they needed a goalie, so there I was, right? So you can definitely grab an impactful player there.
Yeah, they're also missing Blue Dream and the music. I mean, there's so many options right now. I think. Oh, there goes Gigi.
For some reason, what Tanks get skipped or something? I don't know.
No, Tanks is taking too long. That's the problem. His extensions are done with.
Is that correct? I'm not able to get in any of the chats.
I'm guessing at this point, because that's how it's always worked in the past. Is that if you take too long, the next person start getting picks.
Yeah, that's how it should work. Hopefully, Tanks is able to make his pick quickly. We don't really want to see him. We don't want to see any owner fall behind and not able to make their pick. It's just not a great look. So I see his cursor moving back towards the Zen Freeze's team. Oh no, Kaioken gets taken by Swift, and so they're just moving right along. Don't know where Tanks is, but whatever. So Dagius, obviously the West backup, and it is a very West team for Watermelon. Interesting strategy.
Yeah, no, it's a super West team. They grabbed pretty much all the West players they could. There we go. There goes Muffin Man.
All right, so we got Muffin Man. So Tyrion's still there. Really interesting, considering he was pretty good last season. Pretty good player overall.
I don't know. People aren't really hopping onto the European hype train. That's okay though.
Well, I mean, he might go back to you guys, and you'll have Slide and Tyrion. That'd be interesting.
What a dream. Speaking of dreams, Blue Dream still sitting out there. Was a fourth rounder last season. Pretty consistent skater. We should be seeing him go shortly. I don't know what Nova's gonna be doing. I didn't expect. I only really expected his Link King and Zack Smack pick. Did not expect Lightning or Dark Angel. So
El Taco.
El Taco. You know what? Okay. Why not?
Who is that?
You know he's a taco.
All right. Is he any good at Zella hockey?
Say yes.
All right, that's a no. Moving on to Alert Eyes. Alert Eyes. You got Tyrion there. At this point,
That one of the Twins wins? If that's one of the Twins wins, that's actually a really interesting pick. If it's the goalie version of the Twins win, I think that's a really good pick actually. He's still really inexperienced, but if they get their time in like top tier in houses, I think they could be pretty good players.
okay.
I like that pick.
So I'm being told that is, you're correct. That is who it is, I think. So,
yeah.
Interesting.
They're also the best casters in the world. I don't know if you've seen a Twins win cast.
Really? I've not seen a Twins cast.
No, we get Reggie and Robert on the line.
All right. Well, I'll maybe if I have time later, I'll go check that out. In the meantime, it is Alert Eyes. Any hints as to what you're looking for here?
Let me see. I like Kygo. I like Blue Dream. I like Tyrion, though I think getting an American or a North American player would be better. They don't need to be for. Oh, okay, Kygo goes.
They were listening to you, so there it
yeah.
is. You chose Kygo, and that's what they chose.
I think yeah, I do like Kygo. It's as I said, he has a lot of lots of potential.
A pretty stable player too, mature and active. So definitely a good pick for you guys there. I think late sixth
Yeah.
round.
And now we get to Stealth's pick.
Yeah, I'm not really sure
I
what
think-
else they need that would really be very impactful, but I don't know. What are your thoughts?
I think Blue Dream's the best skater. I think the music's also good. Yeah, okay, European. That's a strong pick. I like it.
Tyrion,
really
yep.
good.
Tyrion goes to Stealth late sixth round, and now it is the beginning of the end for the ZHL draft. It is Perplex. He'll take the 6th and 7th rounders, and that'll be it for his ZHL draft. So,
Yo, dream picks right here. I found an I Spy Gecko.
yeah. Oh, that's what it's going to be.
Please tell me I'm right. Oh my god.
You've predicted like everything this draft, it looks like. It is I found, but it might not be I Spy Gecko. We're still waiting for the word.
They can't do me like this.
It would be really funny. Still some deliberation from Perplex. I don't know how. Is I Spy Gecko a goalie? I don't remember. No, he's a skater. I remember. That's right. He was the owner of the Vapors Probe team for the Flyers. That's right.
Yep.
Decent
Both
player.
of them are really pretty good pro players. And they've been around. They're both pretty dedicated. Dedicated. They both play quite a bit and have interest in the ZH community. So, I think. Oh, are they gonna break it up? They broke up the dream.
Oof.
Oh no! But they got a new dream at the same time. How about
That's right. They got half the dream and the rest of the dream in the blue dream. So, yeah, I mean, I think that makes a lot of sense, even though you might want to take I Spy Gecko just to make I Found happy. Blue Dream, probably the best player overall, and you don't want to just let him slide to the other teams.
Yeah.
Well, it is Stealth here with his last pick of the ZHL draft. Couple decent players still left. You've got it doesn't need a goalie, but Sid is there. If he does need one, Sanji, Chefman, Restorol. The music, you might want to.
Yeah, the music would be a solid pick.
For sure.
I mean, with this, you kind of want to get someone that will show up no matter what, if you ask them to. You know, yeah, you want someone that'll be there when you start missing players, and or someone you could try and develop. Though there's less and less new players each season. Some of the names that are on there that I think you could work with. I mean, you could grab the kid. That's a really. They already have two goalies.
Yeah, I was just thinking about Sid as a pick there, but they do already have the two goalies, so maybe not. But yeah, Sid is not a bad pick in this next few picks.
Yeah.
Slayton is on there. Nobody knows who Slayton is. He's a banjo ball player. I've never seen him play Zealot hockey, but he's pretty good at banjo ball. So I don't know how quickly he could get good, but very likely to go probe. Although Metz is an owner.
Well, there's Bizarro. We could just fill up the rest of the draft with Bizarro. That's what we do in our mock draft.
That'd be interesting. Yeah, Biz is actually not a bad pick either. There, he's improved certainly from what I've seen as a skater. Yeah, I mean, I would assume Mets would pick if Biz is still there. Probably would pick Biz or Slayton to go with what he knows in a banjo ball player who he can rely on to show up because of the history. But as far as what Stealth is going to do, I have no idea. About Swedish Doll, not a bad player, right? I've yet to mention Swedish. Is he European? I'm not really sure.
Yeah, she's European. Yeah, she's gotten a lot better. To be honest, a couple of seasons ago, kind of a shaky skater, but over the last couple of times I played against her in like the European game, she's gotten a lot better. So I think that's a solid pick if she's able to show up to games. She hasn't been like able to. I don't think he's played.
So there goes the music to Stealth. You said she? Swedish Doll is a she?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Interesting. That'd be interesting. If there was a diversity requirement, Swedish Doll would be definitely taken. Did not know there were any females in Zealot hockey. Interesting. Is that confirmed or is that?
But oh no, she's confirmed. She cast. She's a girl.
All right. Cool.
Yeah, she's one of the European community leaders. Has a big part of the European community.
That's.
He owns I think it's Tuple, that clan, the Ugly Pucklings, and they've been one of the most successful teams on Europe.
All right then. Interesting.
Yeah.
That's cool. Well, back to alert. Your last pick of the draft, Tom. Your team's last pick. Zaris, I can hear you typing, so I'm assuming you're giving some advice. So I'll just let you do that for a minute.
Yeah, no, I gave some advice. I think you could start looking for maybe a backup goalie-ish, maybe as Shaftman. That was my recommendation. I think that's a solid pick.
Yeah, I like this pick. I mean, because Shaftman, not only is he the GOAT skater and the savior of the War Pigs in Season 8, he's also, from what I've seen, a serviceable goalie. So that flexibility, being able to get that in the 7th round, as well as all the jersey sales and the T-shirt sales and the Harambe signs that'll be at your games.
Yes.
Really great pick.
Yeah, as I told him, he would actually did a really good job of it was in the pro playoffs. He would go into both roles, skater and goalie, whenever he needed to, and he was like adjusting seamlessly. Though to be fair, it wasn't against CHL players. It was against like really good pro players. So he played against I think it was the Irish Drizzle of last season, that European powerhouse. Was it them? Or
Yep, I think so.
Yeah, and he did a really good job of keeping his team in it. But yeah, we have Nova now, and with that El Taco pick, I don't want to make any predictions.
Yeah, really, because we have no idea what's gonna happen. That's for sure.
He looks like he's moving up Shadow Man.
Who is that?
I think he actually made a post on the forums or something, or he no, it was a comment like he's like, I'm new but I want to play or something.
Oh man, Nova taking another one of these sketch possible Smurf players. Is that what this is?
This is my first time signing up, so I don't have. I don't have much of an idea how this works. I will not be able to make Sunday games. Not sure about job in school.
Okay, that's sketch. No Sunday games, but Nova took them. And Nova had Blockade and that other account last season. Okay, Nova, I see you. All right. Well, hey, I guess it's smart if he's there and eligible. Whatever. We'll see.
The once announced greatest pub player in the world, who never got to ZHL. I think he played last season. Samwise, another old name on the list.
And another instant pick for Swift.
Yeah, he kind of knows what he's doing. And who else on this? What's interesting is Cubs still on the list, though he's opted out of Pro League. I don't know what his plans are, It still hasn't been picked.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Did the kid probably the best goalie left on the list? I Spy Gecko still on the list. Kelvin, how did I forget about Kelvin?
Yep, Kelvin Lockskater, with good reason. Had to goalie a lot last season and did not like it from what I saw. So, interesting. Not a bad pick there, obviously, in the 7th round.
Yeah, we have. So there's I Spy Gecko. I assume. Horsanji. I mean anything goes here. Yeah.
So, if Cubs doesn't get taken,
No
he's
CH for
taking a
Cubs.
league off, I guess. I'm not sure who else. I don't think anyone else on the board who was not drafted opted out, did they? I don't think so. We'll have to look later, but Cubs definitely a risk here.
Yeah.
Poor guy. Tanks in the Twitch chat just said "Yo Cubs" in all caps, so I don't know. Watermelon with a little comment there that I won't repeat. There it is. It's Cubs. Yeah, I don't think it's even. Oh, never mind. Dang, Blitzerg put Cubs there, and then he said JK, and Biz is the pick. So another banjo player. Holy cow.
Good stuff.
Okay, so that wraps up the ZHL Season 9 draft, and Cubs, I'm sorry. I don't know what you're going to do. But Biz, the last pick, so congratulations to Biz on being taken in the ZHL draft. And that is Team Banjo. Well, I'm not really a banjo player anymore, so still, three banjo players.
Still banjo.
Mm-hmm.
Banjo players do seem to congregate around each other. Keep your friends close and your enemies closer.
Hey, Sly, I just want to let you
kinda
know we're
deal.
taking a 15-minute break.
Seems everybody in banjo has
Draft.
it out for each other, but that's okay. And,
Yeah.
That was a fun draft.
It was a fun draft. Appreciate you co-casting. So Swift just let me know in my earpiece here that we're going to be taking a 15-minute break, and then we'll be coming back with the Pro League draft. So I guess, Tom, if you want to, we can sort of get into an analysis of these teams' strengths and weaknesses now that we've got the full picture in front of us, starting with the first team, Tarsona City Tigers, Perplex. Perplex's team. What do you think about their potential season going forward?
I think one of the best things
Hey,
about this team is that
Sly,
they have
can
both
you
a
mute
decent
your
West
headset
skater.
in
That gives them
Discord?
options.
We need to
They're going to
discuss
be
a
an
few things.
East-favored team. Rush is really good. Bulbasaur is really good. Ruckle, he'll be practicing a lot with Rush. He'll be on all the time with Rush, he's going to be the #1 goalie in the league. Actually, I don't want to say that yet, because they don't really have a defender. I'll take that back. Sorry, Ruckle. Ruckle's really good, but without defense, Rush might play defense for them. I always forget that Rush is a defender, but a first overall defender isn't what you want out of your, first overall pick. And Perplex doesn't defend. Bulbasaur doesn't defend. So I don't know what's gonna happen.
But Rush is actually a pretty good defender, right?
He's a good defender. He's very good at it.
So, I think he can sort of hang with the best of them, and obviously he's not going to go permanent defense, I don't think. But you can have him sort of rotating between perma-D and sort of a supporting role. So I think I like that role for Rush. I think that's where he's best. Obviously, you've got Bulbasaur, who was an absolute terror in a few games last season, though there are some questions about his attendance and his consistency of play. But as a late second rounder, that's obviously a really good pick. Ruckle, I agree. I think Ruckle will be. I think when it's all said and done, Ruckle will probably have the highest save percentage if the defense is there for this team as it could be, maybe with Rush rotating and Perplex sort of double teaming the defensive responsibilities. Obviously, you got Peter, pretty good fifth man.
Yeah, I mean, the last time Ruckle was with Rush, Ruckle ended up having the best goalie season ever. I think. It's hard to the best goalie season by I think save percentage. Reimer had the most shutouts in one season, and then the best defensive season was I think the Iyer season 6. You know what, I'm kind of forgetting stuff, but yeah, when Ruckle and Rush were together last time, they ended up with a super low goal out average. It was really low. So yeah, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, overall, I think it's a pretty solid team. Definitely, in my view, not going to be the worst team in the league. Though there might be some better teams out there. So anyway, New Gettysburg, you've got Stealth as the fourth rounder. Obviously, had 3 picks in front of him. Vapor, Quackster, assertive goalie, Elder Sage, backup goalie, Tyrion, and the music. I think this might be, well, to me, this is probably the best team on paper. Um, Vapor
Yeah, you got
obviously
two
falling to
goats.
second overall, Tom.
Yeah, you got two goats with Vapor and Stealth. Um, that's a winning formula right there. Quackster falling, I think, really late, and Dash maybe being one of the top two goalies. I agree with you 100%. This is one of the better teams on paper. Once again, just defensive issues. Maybe Stealth has never. He's played third man defense, but he's never really been known as like being the permanent third man. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, Stealth and the Red Wings sort of struggled last season. Um, but if Stealth can revert to his mean or whatever skill level that is, I think with Vapor and Quackster out there, that's a pretty dangerous team. Especially, I mean, you got Tyrion in the 6th round, who I don't know if he's better than Stealth or about the same. I don't know, but really solid players overall, and you've got an East and a West goalie. Really balanced team server wise, as you said. So I really like the Flyers going forward. So I know you're going to be a little biased, but Zeris Redlings, Alert Eyes captain or owner rather, 4th rounder. That obviously really helps you guys able to get Marker there at a pretty secure position. I think it's a pretty good pick just to get the consistent goalie who's going to be there, low ping. Proster. So I have not seen Proster play a league game, at least not live, right? But from what I understand, he's pretty good.
He's pretty good.
So how do you like your team?
I like it. The biggest problem is this team probably won't practice with Proster that much, and that's a really big thing. Is that you want to practice with how your real game environment is gonna be, and Proster completely changes how teams play because he's that much of a factor. So it'll be tough to kind of mimic practice without Proster. But I think this team has a lot of raw talent, but we also lack defense in general. So we'll see. I honestly I don't know. One of the yeah, I think we hopefully we'll get some goals. I think Alert and both Proster, and sometimes I just find goals randomly, so it works.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think defense is the question mark. It'll be a little bit of an adjustment, I think, for Marker, who's coming from arguably, but probably the best defense of any of the teams last season. And for a goalie, that's exactly what you want, to have that best defense and a really consistent defender to cover your cross and click away those offensive players at the crease. So might be a little bit of an adjustment, but if you got Proster and Alert, I mean, Alert had a great season last season, scoring all those goals and all those assists actually too. Um, you might be called to defend a little more than you might want to, but for the good of the team, it might be really effective, I think. And then
Yeah.
Slide as the 5th overall is a pretty good pick, I think. Really strong East player, and even Central. I mean, he's pretty good on Central too, from what I've seen. So great 5th rounder, I think. Compared to the Irish Storms, Nova, really interesting draft. Sort of weird, but in a way it sort of makes sense. Pretty big question marks in Dark Angel, who clearly is going to be the goalie after the other picks in Lightning, Lock Skater, Zach Smack. I don't know if you want El Taco as your goalie, but there he is. So maybe
He's
he'll.
there.
Yeah, there he is. So
Yeah, no,
what do you think of this team?
I was surprised by the. I mean, it all points to Dark Angel being the goalie. I think that it's actually a really well balanced team. If Nova stays back, I think Zach can feed Linking really easily. These guys have played on the same team in season 4, and they, were a powerhouse together. Or was it season? Yeah, season 4. And I don't know. I think it's a really strong team. Biggest question mark is Dark Angel goalie. I think Nova's really good. I think he's underrated for the most part. He has really strong clicks. Linking, everyone knows how good he is. It'll be interesting to see his production this season.
Yeah, absolutely. Agree 100%. It's interesting. I think Zach Smack's sort of the X factor for this team. If Zach can play really well and utilize the talent around him, I think you're right. Nova is underrated, or maybe he was. His patience and his defensive ability is really solid. Took that team, that core hall team, to the finals last season. Obviously, had a great season. Good leader too. Pairing him with a scorer like Ling and a support player like Zach could be really effective. Obviously, the question mark is Dark Angel, and I'm seeing in Twitch chat that he might not be happy about the situation, but maybe he's just joking or whatever. Either way, if Dark Angel can play consistently in goal, this team can go pretty far, I think. Those two X factors in Dark Angel and Zach are going to be a question mark. But Ling took me as goalie pretty far last season, so Dark Angel probably better in goal than me. Not sure, we'll see. But if Ling can do that with me, someone who is pretty inexperienced and had a tough season early on at least. I think it's a pretty good going forward for them. So, and you've got Lightning Skater, obviously. I know he wanted to skate, so he locked, even though he had a pretty good goalie season. And for a fifth rounder, I think there are some better ones out there, but definitely a consistent player, good ping, I think, and a central player, so can go any server. What about the Inquisition?
Inquisition. I think there's no chance that this team misses the playoffs.
Yeah, they're gonna win 7 games or 8 games, whatever.
Home game. The big question is if they're able to lock up home field advantage in the regular season, or
for the postseason.
Was there something changed with that? For the postseason. I don't remember if something was changed for that. But yeah, I mean, they have a really strong West lineup. They have people that play a lot of Zealot hockey with Mythic, Chaotic. Watermelon's starting to play a bit more. He used to play a lot, then he took a break. I don't know how much he's going to be playing for the rest of the season. Art went missing a couple seasons. We'll see how he shows up. With some solid backups with Halo, I think that's a really good East pickup for them. I think that Dagius is a solid West backup as a just in case. He can goalie and skate, which is a good compliment to Art if Art doesn't show up for a week.
Yeah, I think this is a really interesting team. You've got Watermelon, who didn't play last season, who at times in in-houses looked a little rusty, but overall, obviously, a really, really good player. So if I think he gets his stride back, he can really, really take this team pretty far. That said, you've got that question mark in Art. And then, so if Art turns out not to work out, you might be in a little dangerous spot due to the fact that Halo's an East player. And then if you don't play very well in the regular season, you're really opening yourself up to winning 2 games in the playoffs in that series, and then just dropping 3 to an East team, because Daggies isn't going to be able to help you enough if either Mythic or Kadak can't show up for one of those games, or you're looking at maybe a tough situation if you get an East team and you don't have home field or home ice advantage. But definitely looks good on paper preseason. So, what about
sure.
the Yetis Swift? Really weird draft, man.
So a lot of teams in the past get like flamed on the draft that they drafted way too defensively, and then their team works out, and then they do really well. Defense wins games a lot of the times, and they got a lot of defenders. Yeah, I mean, Gurila always been an elite defender, first round defender. Swift showed last season he's got what it takes to score goals, but he was also a really strong defenseman. One of the big question marks is Country Ken. What will happen most of the time, I think, is this team will go on East, or if they're away, they're going to be playing on East, and teams are not gonna like that. They'll have Country Ken playing from West. They're gonna have Meepo Mart playing on West, unless they sub it Meepo for Kaio. But yeah, they don't really have an East option for goalie. That's their biggest weakness. I think this team will do better than people are saying they are, from what I see in Twitch chat.
Yeah, that's interesting that you say that. The criticism I would level would just be that you probably could have gotten some of those players in later rounds. Maybe that's who he really wanted, and that fits what he's trying to create. But for Meepo Mart, for example, you probably could have gotten him in the 5th round. Vile Lock Skater, probably could have gotten him later, but hey, obviously we will wait to see how it goes for Swift. But on paper, at least, this looks like it might be, with question marks at goal, and that's really. Well, I guess you got Gorilla, who could goalie too. I forgot. So, never mind. I was gonna say their goalie situation might be really a problem, but if Gorilla can goalie, then it might not be that big of a deal. So there's actually some flexibility here for this team, as Swift can play that defensive role really well. He showed last season, so just need to find the scoring then. Core Hall, more picks. Mets, not a surprising draft to me. What about you?
I don't think Mets was expecting for Blitzerg to fall to him. I think he was expecting him to be taken by Swift, so I think Mets is happy that Blitzer got to him. I think that he has some really good lock skaters for the right servers. They have Carlito, who will show up for every West game, and Dust Devil will show up for hopefully most of the East games. My question is, who are they going to be running on Central when, if they like, what's their home server's got to be like East Central, right? And who are they going to be playing once they run out of East Central games for Dust Devil?
What's TK?
Like,
what's his server?
He's East.
Okay, so yeah.
Or he's Central.
Okay.
He's East Central. He's in Ohio.
I gotcha. That's not. Yeah, that ping is not too bad from East either. So.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Yeah, I mean, definitely an East Central team. Blitzerg, one of the top defenders, apparently, and he has stated, at least before the season, that he is going back to Permady. So that'll free up Mets to create some more offense. Obviously, Core Hall didn't score a lot last season, but they were so good defensively that Mets was able to score enough goals that it didn't matter. They still got to the finals. And they're going to sort of be looking to recreate that with Blitzerg defense. But you've got some more offense this season with Carlito and Dust Devil. I think those players are really scorers. Really, they're both offensive players to me. So Metz is going to be able to slot into that support role and really be all over the ice, and I think that's where he's best at. So his draft makes total sense to me. I don't know how it works out in reality, but in theory, looks to be a pretty good team, especially if Town Crier is able to play at the level I've seen him play at a few times. This could be a really formidable team with Blitzerg defense and TK in there.
Yeah.
Zen Freeze, last but not least. What do you think? Tanks' draft.
I like it a lot. I think this is one of the most difficult positions to be picking from. When you're on the far end of the draft. Because that third, fourth round is so questionable on what you do. You get potentially the worst goalie and like except this one of the worst skaters. But he ended up going for 2 lock skaters, which I think is really smart. And with that, he also saw that you were going to be. He guessed that. I'm guessing he was looking for you in the far end when he made that decision, or at least one of the goalies falling all the way back to him in the 6th, 7th, and he made the right call there. I think it's a really smart draft. I think Muffin Man's a good backup when either of those 2 players can't make it. Yeah, I think I really like that draft.
Yeah, so I couldn't say this before the draft, but I know that Tanks was definitely looking to get me. I know he was considering taking me with the 4th pick, but I really like that he didn't. It was pretty clear when I didn't get picked in the 3rd round, I think, that I wouldn't go in the 4th round. So I think really smart draft by Tanks actually. That is a critical thing, you know. Obviously, 3 is not a hard pick there in the 2nd round, but to have the courage to sort of take that risk and get those 2 really good skaters in Sur and Yoda, who are both locked, but are going to have a total of 16 possible games between them each, or not each, but between them. I think is a really good play. I'll do my best. Hopefully, I'll be a solid goalie for them. And then Muffin Man and Biz, I think, are 2 players who are both active and both solid in what they can do. Biz actually played some goalie in Probe last season, had some good games, and I know Muffin Man also can play a little of both. So actually, some flexibility and activity in the last 2 rounds. So I definitely like this team. And 3 is a monster. I think he's a little underrated right now, you know, just based on the way he played last season. A tough team, tough situation for him. But the way he played in the tournament, he scored like 6 goals on me, I think. And it was on us. That's right.
Yeah,
that was a crappy game.
Yeah, the three went off. One of the big problems with 3 though is you don't know. With this team, Tanks and 3 have had their, you know, they have an interesting relationship. You know, they love each other, they hate each other. They sit with each other all night on TeamSpeak, or they yell at each other for weeks. You know, it's tough to say what is going to happen. If things go badly early on, they're going to be at each other's neck, and that won't be good. It's happened before, but they turned it around in the CHL and they won a championship. So, you know, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, okay. Well, I can be an adult. Not a problem. I can.
Yeah, I'm not worried about you. It's those 2, and it's tough to get in the way of them, from what I've heard. So.
Well, yeah, Tanks and I have you know, I think a pretty good history actually. I think that if they do start to go off the rails, that I'll be able to hopefully help them out with that. But you know, if we win, then everything's good. So hopefully everything will just go as planned. His draft made a lot of sense, though. So, all right, well, that's it. I mean, those are your teams. It'd be interesting to see what you guys think of the drafts. Wrestler is saying, "How did Tom go that late?" Tom is the new Rush draft felon. I don't know how you're a felon. I mean, you didn't have any say in where you went, so.
No, you know what? I did what I always did. I said in the earlier I should be going later in this draft. A lot of players have gotten a lot better. So you know what? It's I was honestly still expecting you in the first round from what the owners are telling me, but it'll be interesting. I'm surprised, and I'm looking forward to playing with Roaster. So yeah.
Yeah. Well, congratulations on that. And Alert Eyes just said in the chat that Cubs sign up says he'll play probe. All right. Maybe we'll just ignore that. Maybe the ownership will just let that happen. That's fine by me, I guess. Maybe he thought he was just gonna get it taken and wouldn't have been a big deal. But with separate leagues, I mean, if you're willing to play both, it doesn't really make sense to opt out. Personally, I opted out because I'm not gonna have time to play as much during the week, or maybe not a desire for the pro games, so that's why I opted out. But as far as everyone else, not really making as much sense there to opt out, but whatever. So it's been more than 15 minutes probably. I'm switching over to the ZHPL draft. Hopefully we'll be getting that started in a minute. Blitzerg is just sending me the notification right now that we are going to get started with that. As Marker says, scheduling Felon Sly. I don't know what that means, Marker, but I'll take it as a compliment. Alright, so this is really interesting to me. I was hoping that before the season, with the separate league structure, that we would be able to get 8 probe players as probe owners. But obviously that was not able to happen. So instead you've only got 3 probe players who are probe owners. So unfortunate, but I think that these owners, the ZHL probe owners, are reliable enough, I think, and active enough so where it probably won't be an issue. It's just a little weird to have them be leading the team without playing. Hopefully it won't create any issues, but we'll see.
Yep. I think it's if they the big thing is kind of watching each game and hopefully trying to really be there for the pro team. You don't need to lead from inside the game all the time. And I think it'll work out. All these guys have experience teaching these new players, so yeah, I like it.
Yeah, it would be nice to get that teaching, as you said, going there. Obviously Watermelon's done some coaching in the past. I think Blitzerg has too. Nova obviously may even scrimmage his own probe team, even though they're separate leagues. I know he's really active in practicing with his team and whatnot. So, yeah, a couple of these owners are pretty good. But
I gotta be right back.
No, not a problem. So, obviously, some of the others won't be as involved though. So we'll see how it goes. Hopefully, we're going to be starting soon. Bizarro with the first pick. He will be the owner of the Charmanders. So if you're confused by the fact that there are different teams, don't be. They're separate leagues, and so the owners were allowed to pick whatever team they wanted. Didn't have to be attached to their ZHL team. And the first pick is Lightning, Lock Skater. Second pick goes to Nova, and he'll take Dust Devil. Pretty obvious picks there, I guess. Lightning, obviously, pretty good probe player. And Dust Devil wanted to play probe, locked, but one of the better probe players for sure. Not sure why he didn't want to play ZHL that much, but whatever. Blitzerg is up. And I guess my only concern here is with the ZHL players being the owners of the probe teams is that their drafting ability may not be as thought out. If they don't know these pro players, it's a little interesting of a situation. But Peter DeLay is going to be the first round, third overall pick for the New Folsom Outlaws, Blitzerg's team. And Tinks is going to go with Elder Sage, so obviously a really good goalie and potentially ZHL skater. Got that flexibility in the Zen Chill lineup. I assume, though, that these, hopefully the owners who are not playing for these probe teams work with their first rounders and eventually their second rounders to build the rest of the team. I'd assume that'd be the process as we move to the Music, who is the owner of Tarsona City again, the Wildcats. Pretty good season last season.
Oh, I'm back.
And Tudus is saying to put him on the list for the Pro League, but that's not. Sorry, Tudus, not going to do that.
Yeah, Tudus is too good. I think I said it, and I think this last week to somebody. I forgot who I said it to, but Tudus would be the best goalie in the ZHL if he signed up to goalie only. So I don't see how he could ever participate in Probe.
Yeah.
He's
We
really good.
we agree that it was sort of, well, I mean, not really fair to include him in that, but it would have been fun for him. I know but just not really fair to the other players. Sorry, 2D. Anyway, you got Chad GG taken by the Music, and then you got the 2 Euros going. Watermelon takes Tyrion, Swift takes Slide. No surprise really in the first round.
Actually, I wasn't here for the Dust Devil pick. I think that's a bit of a surprise, to be honest. I don't think that a lock player is what you should build your team around, but
Yeah. I mean, I guess not. But I know he really wanted to play Probe, right, and not as much DHL. And I mean, as far as talent in the Probe League, hard to get better than Dust Devil at that pick.
Yeah, no, you're right. Lightning. You know if Bizarro picked Lightning just because they're friends?
I'm sure that was part of it, but also a pretty talented Pro League skater. So
Yeah, he's pretty good.
I'm sure that was a big part, though.
Yeah, if he shows up for every game, I think he's one of the best players you can build your team around. And I think since he might have a ZHL role since he was taken in the 5th round, but I think that Lightning can. He's been a big part of probe teams in the past. One of the more reliable skaters in the league, so I think it's a good pick, regardless.
Yeah, completely agree. You think about the other players taken. Tyrion and Slide are both European players, may not be there every game. You've got Dust Devil, lock player, as you said, not an ideal choice to build your team around a lock player. Peter, pretty good pick, though probably be playing ZHL. Pretty involved in ZHL, so may not be looking to probe as much. And then Elder Sage, another pretty good pick, I think. So Lightning's definitely a solid first choice for Biz, I think. Anyway, we've got Shaft Meme, the GOAT Shaftman, with 2 picks here, picking last for the Core Hall Warthogs. The 8th slot.
I messaged him quickly. I think one of the better picks here might be Tygo. I think he's one of the best players on the list, and he's also on his ZHL team. What other options that he has? I think Muffman's really good. I think Restrol, even though he didn't make the ZHL draft, which I think is surprising, is really good.
So how
Yeah.
early do you, if you're a probe owner, right, and you're thinking about the skill gap at various levels in probe, how early do you take a goalie, right? Because you've got Sid, you've got Halo, Muffin Man can goalie a little bit.
I think you could honestly take a goalie in the second round in this draft. I think goalies are actually a bigger factor in pro than ZHL, especially when I'm not sure if there's 8 real goalies left.
Yeah, completely agree. He does go with Banana and I Spy Gecko, though. So those are going to be his picks. Yeah, especially in his position, I definitely would have thought about a goalie. Though Shaftman can goalie himself, so there's that. But, I mean, you think about, he's not going to be picking again until, he only gets one pick there on the way back in the 4th round. So he better be happy with the situation. Kaigo goes. Another good call by you, Swift. Is going to have a Kaigo and Slide out there.
Yeah, they're both on my team. I think that's good. I like that. Vile going, locked player. One, Vile is Vile on Watermelon's team? I think he is. He's on Swift's team. But another locked player going kind of early. I guess one of the things about Probe is you could kind of rotate your lineups more, or at least easier, because once you get past the 3rd or 4th round of this, the skill level it's still kind of close in comparison to ZHL, where the 1st round is much different than the 4th round, like much different.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I completely agree. Tanks picks Muffin Man again, so he's on both of his teams. I think a pretty good pick for Probe. As far as talent level, he's definitely up there. He's going to be active, I think. So, pretty good value in the 2nd round for Muffin Man. And then Gigi did Gigi get taken in ZHL?
Yeah.
Okay, he did. All right. I had to think there for a second. I was like, wait a minute.
He was taken by, I think it was Metz's team. Let me.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, there
6th
we go.
round. Okay.
And then we get Cubs. Look at that. He actually went before ZHL players here. So
That's interesting.
like I found still on the board, Dagius. Yeah. So.
But did he go before any of the other players that Nova drafted who are available?
Oh, let's take a look.
He went before El Taco and Shadowman. So that's interesting.
Okay then. Oh well, Cubs shows up to his games. He'll 100% go for if he decides to play. One other thing is you get the Dust Devil Cubs chemistry that we saw from the last season Chaldeer Snowmen, the champions from last season.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's a good point. So they've got. That's right. They played together last season, right? So that's why you would pick them there. That makes sense.
All they need is now. I guess Fancy Pants isn't available, and Pluto on Fire, which isn't here, sadly.
Oh, what a shame.
I know. But there's other options. I'm sure they'll find a way to make it work.
Fancy probably could have gone in DHL as a backup goalie,
Well,
or
I think he would. I think he would definitely go in the ZHL draft. Fancy's a really solid defender. And I mean, if he was goalie, he'd be a starting goalie, no doubt.
Gotcha. Anyway, we're back to Biz. He's going to get 2 picks here. We'll figure out who they want. He and Lightning, 2 Banjo players looking to round out his team. Almost no doubt that they were going to pick up a goalie. What's that?
Find all the Banjo players in the draft.
Yeah. Who else is there? I don't. Oh, so Slayton,
Whoa.
They could get Slayton.
Look at this. The draft is going past Bizarro. He's not picking in time.
Oh, that's tough.
No. He's lost Halo and Dagius, 2 really good picks.
Yeah, I definitely would have liked to get Halo there if I were Biz, but it looks like time has passed him by. Oh no, they were just deleted.
Getting rolled back here. Oh,
Nope.
Yup.
I have no idea what's happening. It wasn't really much time passed for Biz. I don't know why that would be the case. Yeah, I don't think he really got skipped. I forgot 5-minute extension. Okay. Well, now
Uh,
we know who those owners want. So
yeah, that's kind of dirty.
strategic play from Biz, and he's gonna get a Halo.
Let's see, Dagius. Come on now.
That'd be hilarious.
You could go. I think I found would honestly what's Biz skates, right?
Yeah, he skates. Obviously, he wants to skate probably with Halo getting picked here.
Yeah. Um,
He can goalie a little too, though.
okay, I found is a really good skater here. Uh,
Looks like Sanji opted out. Oh, and Sanji
yeah,
didn't get picked in the ZHL, did he?
we didn't.
So he's gonna sit a season. There was one other player who I thought would be good. Kim Jong Skill for a pro player. I don't know. Not bad.
No, he's a pretty good option.
We're gonna go with Kelvin.
That's pretty solid. Kelvin has had a top level experience before. Kind of getting relegated back a bit, but I think it's a really solid pick there.
Yeah, I think Biz being the fourth rounder, and having the first pick he's made the most of his draft. I think that's a really well-rounded team for a probe team. I mean, you got 2 ZHL level players in there.
Yeah, and then I found goes one of the picks from Team Perplex in the regular draft goes over here. Assume they're still gonna go Dagius. Blitzerg, kind of round off that West lineup. And honestly, they have a ZHL West lineup right now.
That's true.
If Blitzerg gets Dagius, all those players have played in the ZHL. I mean, all of them. Peter and Gigi have both been second rounders at some point. So Gigi's kind of a he's been a real second rounder for Hate Stag Pill.
Yeah, I mean, that'd be a really solid lineup with Dagius. I mean, you would think that they'd win all their West games, and then they would hope for, a decent goalie swinging back around the fourth round to round out that team. I'm not really sure anyone will be left, but hey, I mean, you've got the skaters in probe. If you have that going for you, then you're good to go.
Dagius and Gigi have been on the same team before, and they go on to TeamSpeak with each other, and it is the funniest thing in the world. Dagius is actually Iggy's dad, I think. It's like the stepdad, I'll say. They hate each other, but they love each other. It's one of those things. It's the funniest interaction in Zealot hockey. So I'd like to see Dagius and Gigi on the same team.
All right, interesting. Taking his time, obviously, I think that those numbers down there, I think that those are the extensions.
Yeah.
So one was obviously used by Blitzerg. As he looks to pick up Sid. Pretty. If you're not going to go with Dagius, I think that's probably a solid pick. Grab your goalie. Zenchill now, Tanks picking for Elder Sage and Muffin. I assume they weren't looking to get Sid because they have Elder and Muffin, but
yeah,
not really sure who you get here. Maybe Restorol. Pretty good value for a pro player.
Did I Spy Gecko not opt in for Probe? Oh no, he already was taken. You know what's funny? I didn't even know. I Spy Gecko got taken before I found in the pro draft, but I Spy Gecko wasn't even taken in ZHL.
Yes, that is. Well, it would be weird if one of the ZHL owners had done it, but Chefman obviously sees I Spy Gecko as more valuable to his team. So,
Yeah.
and tanks.
So I'm not sure what options he really has here. He could go.
Man, it's a pretty well-rounded team already with the flexibility of those two players. I think you just get another solid player and you're in pretty good shape. I mean,
Dagius Skater would work for this team. You could
Leprechaun
go-
maybe or Restorol.
Yeah, Restaurant, still Leprechaun, Sharp.
Well, he just took off Leprechaun, but it's still. Oh, there it is. So yeah, I was correct. It is Leprechaun, so that's a pretty good three, I think. Elder, Muffin, and Leprechaun.
I th- I think the music's gonna go for someone that they could count on, which is Dagius. Dagius will show up for the pro games. Chad UG, the music, another dynamic duo. They played with each other last season. They're good friends. They play all sorts of games with each other. I think that team will be one of the most active, and activity is something that's really important in probe to success. So
Yeah, that's for sure.
yeah.
All right, we got Watermelon picking for Tyrion and a locked Vial. Really interesting team here. You might have some attendance issues with the European player and a locked player. So Watermelon definitely wants to get someone reliable here for his probe team to have some success. And he needs a goalie, I think. So
Yeah. You could go with maybe Microwave. He's over Khan. No, he took Khan in the draft, so two locked players already. I really I don't like that.
yeah,
I don't like
I don't like it
drafting,
either.
like a lot of inactive players for probe.
I mean, you compare it to Swift's team, right? He just instantly picked Restorol.
Yeah, Vestrol is I think the best pick there for sure. If Vestrol shows up. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, just the matchups. Kygo versus Vile, Slide versus Tyrion, Restorol versus Khan. I think Swift's team, all three of those matchups favor his team already. So Watermelon, I think, had a good ZHL draft, but maybe not as faring as well in the Pro League.
On the turn with Shaftman. Looking for a goalie here, I would assume. You could go KD Fault, but he's locked. You could go Microwave if he wants to goalie. There's no other real goalies I see. Papi Chulo. Papi Chulo would be a good goalie here.
They went with Silent Fate, who is lock goalie and locked.
The greatest goalie in Europe. Oh, I also forgot about El Taco. Yeah, I really like Swiss team. I think that's a really solid team. El Taco and Papi Chulo, both parts of Twins win. I think those are going to be really good pro goalies. And I think Watermelon will make a big mistake if he doesn't pick Papi Chulo here. Because I think he needs a goalie really bad. Or he could get Mensa. Mensa's gotten water coaching before. And he's 100% not a skilled cap player.
Okay, so they go with Demos, who
Ooh,
I didn't see play much last year.
last season he made like 2 games as a probe captain.
Interesting picks. Though I think some of those were him letting his teammates play, maybe?
No, they weren't.
Alright, never mind. Junkie, I have no idea who that is, but he's a locked player, and he's going to the music.
Junkie was a European commissioner. Great friend. I've played on his teams before.
Oh.
On his European team. I played with him and Dalton. I think it was actually Dalton's team. yeah, Swedish doll, another big European power player. We'll see if she's able to show up for most of the games. It is late when these games happen.
Yeah, so I think the probe games, if I remember correctly, uh, I should remember, I did the schedule, but I think they start an hour earlier. I think. At least on one of the days they start earlier. So that might be to the European players' advantage.
Buddy Bob gets picked. He showed up last season in the free agency draft, made a big impact on the New Gettysburg Aviators. Yeah. Interesting pick. Some people called him a Smurf. We'll see how he does this season.
Oh, some people call Buddy Bob a Smurf? Yeah.
Yeah, because he showed up out of nowhere. And kind of did really well in probe. Kagoroshi, locked skater. So that means Cubs is gonna goalie probe, maybe. Elspatch, I like that pick. Elspatch is really good. And he has the best form game out of anybody in the league.
Forum game? Yeah, that's true. He
Yeah.
does. Yeah, that is interesting because last season Cubs was not willing to goalie in probe. Then obviously this season he fell to probe, and they don't have a goalie other than Cubs on that team. I don't think so. Is Cyclonico goalie? If not, then it's definitely got to be Cubs.
I don't think Cyclonic's a goalie.
So if Cubs doesn't goalie, this team might be a disaster.
Yeah.
Okay, well, hopefully Nova talk with Cubs and he's willing to do that. Otherwise, good luck to him.
Yeah. We could maybe see from this team, maybe, I don't know. There's honestly a lot of names on there. Some of them have a good amount of experience, some of them, but the problem is a lot of them don't show up a lot. I think Chuck Norris is actually pretty good. If Blitzerg he's hovering over him, so I assume he's picking him.
Yeah, you can tell who he's thinking about there.
Yeah. Chuck Norris is on at least one of my probe teams. Always a surprise. More of a pub player. Never really got into any of the in-houses, but he's pretty solid.
Yeah, I mean for goalie you got K Default there, Papi Chulo, Microwave, Peter Farber, not a bad player. Kim Jong Skill still there. I like a couple of those players for probe at least. So Clay J, underrated maybe. He had 30 passes in a game last season, I think it was, in probe.
Was he also on the Aviators?
I don't remember. I think he might have been a free agent. Sign up.
Goza throwing fire here at Chuck Norris.
Poor guy. It's easy to say that.
MLGBX gets taken. Oh, dude, you know what? I completely missed that. Blitzerg should have picked MLGBX on that last pick, so that Peter and MLGBX can play together. Those guys know each other in real life. They're good friends.
Oh.
And
Yeah, that would have been.
MLGBX is he's actually pretty good. He just doesn't play that much, or he stopped playing. He's playing less and less. He's playing more Overwatch. Microwave, also known as CF Darth Gandhi. He has a million different names.
It's a pretty good pick there, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, if he shows up, he's really good. And Watermelon grabs Papi Chulo.
Watermelon took our advice, maybe. Hey, he did wait till the next round, and Papi Chulo was still there. So.
Yeah. Yeah, he really needed a goalie. No other team needed goalies, I guess. So Fell all the way around.
Swift's already got a pretty good team assembled, and he'll go with McSharp.
Another solid pick. Sharp's really good EU player. Usually a first rounder, if I remember correctly, on Europe.
Nice.
So,
So he and Slide will have maybe some chemistry there.
yeah, we got Buck Teeth. Come to think of it, Slide and Sharp might be on the same European team. They're in their clan wars. I can't remember the. I think it's is it Tyrion and Sharp that are on the same team? I don't remember. Anyways,
Yeah.
He's on a good clan team as well. Sharp is.
So Swedish Doll is saying that McSharp and Sharp aren't the same? That Sharp doesn't play NA.
Sharp and Sharp aren't the same? Oh, no. Sharp was I'm pretty sure Sharp was on my pro team last season. He played in the final week. So that's...
Whoops. Well, whatever.
Yeah.
McSharp.
But if they're not the same person, then I don't really know McSharp. So.
Well, whatever. I think I've seen McSharp around online. You know, in the off season. I don't know how good he is, but we'll see.
Sharp is Tuple, okay. Yeah, Tuple's strong team on EU. Kim Jong's skill take, and you mentioned him earlier. I think it's a surprise that he went this far. Pretty. Oh, and there's the meme player.
Yeah. Saki. What a guy. Yeah, Kim Jong-skill scored a lot of goals in pro last season. I don't remember what team he was on, but I just remember seeing that tank quite a few times. North Korea tank.
Yeah.
Pretty good goal horn, I think.
One of the best. Gotta think, I'm pretty sure it was the music that made it, so, music, elite goal horns.
Yeah, for sure. Music's a great guy. Great dev.
Ex-dev.
Yeah. Hopefully that won't
time.
last. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I have too much experience with devs freaking out at each other and getting into drama, and we had the same sort of situation happen with Banjo Ball, and it didn't end very well. I spent hours trying to convince this guy not to destroy the game, and it was a nightmare. So hopefully that doesn't plague you guys.
You guys, you act like you're not a part of us.
Well, yeah, you're right. Us. Because I don't play Banjo anymore, and I only play this, so. It's a fair point, Tom.
Yeah, no, you're a welcome addition to the community. Don't try and exile yourselves from us.
Yeah, appreciate that. I gave him music some advice on how to deal with that, so hopefully he takes it.
Is it to do what you didn't do in the past? Because it seemed it didn't work on your
Well, no, it wasn't about me. I couldn't do anything. As far as he needs to take the code for the game, copy it, and just recreate the game in his own name.
Yeah, he definitely has the game. He made the mechanics map. So we'll see what happens. I think it should be able to be resolved. I hope it'll be resolved easily, but whatever. Another discussion. We got a pro draft going on, I guess.
Yep. Peter Farber was taken, and Mensa. So I definitely like Peter Farber. I played a couple games with him. For a probe level player, maybe I'm underestimating the other players, but I'm kind of surprised he fell to the 6th round. But there he is. And then Mensa. I've not seen Mensa play as much, so I can't really comment.
Yeah, Mensa. I'll hold back my comments. He's reported me for the comments I made about him a couple seasons ago, so.
Okay. All right.
Reported me to the streamers, even though I was kind of one of the main streamers. No, but Peter Farber is a pretty good pick. He just needs to show up. It's one of those things where in this draft you just want people to show up, you know.
Yeah.
anybody can make anything work here. It's just a matter of people actually being there.
Yeah, I'm absolutely aware of how important that is, considering the season I had last season.
I completely miss Adonis here. Adonis is actually a really good pick for any one of these teams. I don't know how he's falling this far. He's pretty good. I think he would make a star on be a star on any one of these teams.
Yeah, I mean,
Adonis being orange.
right, orange. Yeah, you would have thought that he'd probably be in the starting four for a team. But there he is, late in the 6th round. I'm getting word that Adonis was just put there. Oh dear. Okay.
Oh no.
Looks like. Oh, okay. I think I know why this happened. Should have been avoided because people were told that he was not a Smurf, and I think some people may have thought he was a Smurf. So there's that. Alright. I don't know what you do about that, honestly. Tom, if you were commissioner, you were just the commissioner, what would you do in this situation?
I'd like to say I would have had him on the draft before it started. If I had to do this, add a player mid draft, I'd just make sure I didn't pick him or in any way was affiliated with me, and someone else reap the benefits of my error. Yeah. I don't know, that it's a pretty messed up situation.
Yeah, well, it looks like all the owners agreed to just put him in there and stick him in there, and so he's going to go to the Zen Chill and Tanks. So that's a pretty good team, I think. Elder, Muffin, Leprechaun, Orange, Swedish Doll, and MLG BX. Pretty solid team. You know, in Probe, it's not the end of the world, though, I don't think.
Yeah, it's not. And is there gonna be redrafts? So.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. So yeah, let's talk about that. So the big thing this season is that redraft for Probe. It'll be taking place after, I'm pretty sure, the 6th game is what we decided. And so you're able to protect 4 players. Owners obviously have to protect themselves. So you want to protect your best 4 players. And the other players are dumped back into a pool, and we're going to have a redraft. So that the teams who have low activity are able to dump those players and grab some new ones to hopefully help the Pro League season go by a little more smoothly than it has in the past. How do you feel about that? And just a comment, Slayton going early 7th round here to Lightning and Biz's team is no surprise to me at all. The Banjo player.
Yeah, it's that Banjo power. Default, a pretty solid pick. It's a backup goalie for Halo. When Halo can't make weekday games, which happen quite a bit, I think, because Halo has a bit of a messy schedule. Yeah.
Yeah. So, what do you think of the ability for the redraft to help out the Probe season go a little more smoothly and try to balance the teams a little bit? You think that's a fair thing to do in Probe, or is it maybe not great for the balance of the league to move the players mid-season?
I don't think it promotes a competitive league, but I think it's good for probe activity, and I think that's what's important at the moment. Because in past seasons, we used to have a lot, I think. We used to have like 10, 12 pro players potentially per team. So we were going like 10 rounds into the draft at least. But so I don't know. I think being able to have team play is good stuff.
Yeah. I think if you weren't able to protect 4 players, any fewer than 4, then I wouldn't like it as much. But it is the case that we've had probe teams in the past who just that were just destroyed by inactivity, and so it'll definitely help them, and hopefully not ruin the season for a lot of teams.
Look at this. Shadow Man gets taken in the 7th round of the draft.
Yeah.
Which he says he can't make Sundays, but that doesn't even matter. Because he can make weekdays, and that's when probe is gonna. It's confusing.
Yeah, it's weird. I don't know why. I mean, he was taken in the ZHL draft, so it's a weird situation. But Vinner is taken by Tanks. Maybe just for the effect. Because every time he scores, he says, "I am Vinner," and that's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool thing.
That's a neat thing. That's fun. Yeah. Lito getting taken. I don't know Lito. I know Carlos Lito, but
it's little too, right? So he's a probe player, or not a probe, a pub player. Pretty active pub player.
I actually recognize that name from somewhere, but
it's
all Lito.
It's typed. Oh, is it Lito? Oh, okay.
I know it's little too. It looks like Lito to me.
It's because it's typed out differently. I don't know why it's all lowercase here. I think he capitalized a couple letters on his real account. So See Me Shine going to Watermelon. That was a pretty quick pick. I'm not really sure who that is, but obviously Water knows, or one of the pro players told him to pick him. So hopefully that's a good pick for the Crusaders. Sharkham is going to go to Swift, and now we're going to go with Tanks. Tanks is going to, or not Tanks. Tanks was in that position in the ZHL draft. Shaftman, Shaftmeme, and his team is going to have the last, no, not the second to last pick of his draft in the 7th and 8th rounds. He's already got a pretty solid team. Banana, Gecko himself, Buck Teeth, Silent Fate, Kim Jong Skill. At this point, you've only got a handful of players left. May not really matter as much who you want to take here. I don't know who Megaton or Megatron are. Pornhack.
We're getting to that point where we predict the last pick of the draft. Do you have any names that you think will go very last?
Very last?
Yeah.
I think it'll either be Chronic Coffee or Unholy Heart. Oh, there's.
My guesses are going to be Unholy Heart and Ghost Ninja / Tech Ninja.
Really? I would have taken Tech Ninja first round, bro. He's got 2 names. He's a ninja. It's amazing.
Yeah. He's both a Tech Ninja and a Ghost Ninja. How can you beat that?
Seriously.
We got Megaton going. Yeah.
The only player I recognize here is Pornhack. He was a pro player last season.
Pornhack's been a pro player for a long time.
Oh man,
like a very long time.
I just noticed that there's green beans and green greens. I don't know if those are
all know the follow-up pick here.
related or unrelated.
There we go. That's how you do it.
Oh dear. Hopefully those aren't Smurfs.
Discord, I actually played pro with him in season 2, and funny story, not really funny story. In season 2, there was a playoff game, like a ZHL playoff game, and none of my team made it. Oh, the only ZHL player that made it was Rasputin. So Discord and me played in it in a 3 vs 4 with Rasputin. And Discord yelled at me afterwards that I should never make him show up for a game again, because he didn't want to play in a 3 vs 4. He was really upset with me.
Dang.
Yeah, he hated me for that. Um,
Well,
and I
there
didn't.
goes Ghost Ninja.
I know that's sad.
We're down to our pick of Unholy Heart.
Yeah. I think someone should pick Pornhack. Just he'll show up to games and he'll play, but I,
Yeah, he's a little weird. I mean, I had some run-ins with him last season as a caster, trying to get him into a game where he didn't want to play because he didn't like the rules, and it was like, dude, this is not rocket science to figure this out. It was a little weird. Tomek.
Is there any banjo players left? Is Star a banjo player?
Who?
Star?
No, I have no idea who that is.
There goes Pornhag, yeah. Sounds like a banjo name.
Or a Smurf.
Everybody here is a Smurf.
Yeah.
We got Calvin Johnson sitting on the bench here.
I know, right? Well, he retired, so I don't know why he would expect to get taken.
Well, he's retired from the NFL. He's ready for the ZHPL.
There's no pass catching in ZHL, man.
Yeah.
At least not with a stick.
Not a lot of passing going on in Pro League either.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Well, there he goes. Megatron. And Discord. Potential Smurf.
Nico Furfu and Unholy Heart.
Who's Nico?
Final three. Nico, he's a Pro Legend. I don't know. I've seen his name. I don't know where he's been though. And here we go.
Well, it comes down to this.
God, Blitzerg.
Oh, well, Thar is still there. I forgot. Oh, so.
Oh, there's 3 picks. Look at this. The bottom left pick and the top right pick.
It's ridiculous.
I think there's bias towards the corners.
Probably, yeah. Some
Corner
human
pick.
error in this drafting.
Yeah.
Well, there it is. And that concludes the ZHPL Season 9 draft. Those are your teams. Just to do a little quick commentary, not going to go one by one since I don't really know enough about the players. But obviously Charmander's going to be in the running for this with Team Banjo, and got some really good active players there who are borderline ZHL. If Cubs can goalie, that's a good team. Otherwise, it's a disaster for the IR Drizzle. The new Folsom Outlaws Blitzerg's team, definitely going to be a pretty good team, I think, as well with the West players.
Yeah. Big question is if they want to actually play pro. Peter and Gigi both ZHL players in the past. I'm not sure if they're going to want to spend their time pro, especially Gigi. Peter will play whatever.
I like the Zen Chill. I think they're a pretty flexible team. Got some good talent. And got the advantage of getting orange late. That was fun. Tarsonis City, decent team. I don't think it's as talented as some of the other teams, though. I have no idea what Watermelon was doing. Swift's team, really good. I think they're going to be in the running as well.
Planning on that redraft,
yeah, for sure. Trying to get the first pick of the redraft. And then Shaftman, I think, is a pretty solid team as well. Banana, Gecko, and himself, and some good bench players.
So how does the player lock work if for like the redraft? Like if someone like uses their like players in their first like 7 games and they redraft them and then they can't use them. The other team that redrafts them can't use them.
You mean if they're locked?
Yeah, so like no, they're like 50% attended. So like let's say I don't know how long the redraft is, 4, 5, 6 games, whatever it was. Let's say for the first 6 game, Vile and Con play all of them, and then when they get redraft, they can't play again. And so Watermelon just used that team to.
Yeah. So the redraft I think will be after 6. So if they do play, and lock 50% is 8 games due to the doubleheader format. So they would only have 2 games remaining. Yeah, I guess I hadn't really thought of that.
Yeah, just some thoughts.
Yeah, it's a good point. It's disposable players out there. Really interesting. I don't know. Though, you know, a player like Dust Devil, you wouldn't want to let go because you need him in the playoffs too, and so I don't know that it'll be that big of a deal, but I can definitely see some owners doing that as a strategy. I guess that'll be a good point to bring up to the commissioner and co-commissioner or vice commissioner. Good point, Tom.
Yeah, that's what I'm here for.
It's all right. We'll get it all worked out. Well, anyway, that's pretty good timing on these drafts, I think. We start at 7:30-ish, end at 10. Pretty good. Any closing thoughts here?
Cubs wants you to show the ZHL draft.
Okay. I can do that, Cubs. Here it is. There she is. In all its glory. Metz is saying he thinks Caldera is the best team because El Taco is a very good goalie.
Who says that?
Metz is saying that about I think the probe team. He's saying that about.
Oh. Kafka asking me if I can be commissioned next season.
Where is Kafka? Why didn't he sign up?
Maybe getting his campaign ready. Getting financed.
Oh
for,
dear. Yeah. And Cubs is saying he's not going to play goalie for probe. And that he's shocked he's not in ZHL first time. Oh no, that's a different person. So, yeah, that's not good for Cubs' team if he's not playing goalie, but whatever. They'll figure it out.
Yep.
Alright, well, Tom, thanks for joining me. Really fun drafting these, or casting these drafts.
Yeah, no, it was fun. I always love watching these drafts go by, and predicting how this next season will turn out. It'd be fun.
Yep, good luck to you and the Redlings and everyone else who watched. Thanks for joining us. This is Sly and Tom signing off for Zealot Hockey. See you in the season. Good luck to everyone.
No,
Thanks for.
What's the start date? Give start dates.
Oh yeah, that's a good idea. Hopefully everyone's read and knows, but the season will start for the ZHL on Sunday, January 8th. I think it is. Let's make sure. Yep, it is the 8th, and Probe League will be played on Wednesday and Saturday. So it starts the week before on January 4th, that Wednesday, as well as January 7th, that Saturday. Also, we both the Probe League and the ZHL are going to have Super Bowl week off. So Wednesday the 1st and Saturday the 4th, there will be no games for Probe. And the Sunday the 5th, there will be no ZHL games. And that is also in the middle of the season, so it really works out. With doubleheaders, there are 7 total weeks, I think, so gonna go by pretty quick. Every game counts. Anything else we should cover?
I don't know. That's for you.
Yeah, no problem. I will ask Blitz if he wants to make any announcements before we sign off here.
Yeah, I'm gonna go harass Kevin real quick. I'll be right back.
No, it sounds good.
User left your channel.
Yo, Blitz. You're on the stream. Just want to make sure if you want to make any announcements or say anything. Now would be a good time on the back end of the stream.
Can you repeat?
You want to say so? You're live on the stream. Just want to make sure if you
Oh.
want to say anything, make any announcements.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just a few things. The ZHL schedule has been finalized, as well as the probe schedule, and ZHL games will start the 8th. Yes, 8th of January, and that schedule will be released on the forums probably tonight. And then the pro games, so all pro games throughout the season are going to be on Wednesdays and Saturdays only. And the first game of pro will be on the 4th of January. So that is when the games will be starting. I think all the teams look really nice. I don't see any outlier weak teams in either league. They each have their own, unique strengths and weaknesses. I think we're gonna have a really good season. I encourage anyone that doesn't quite understand the league fully to look at the rules. It's on the forums. Definitely read up. I wish everyone good luck this season.
All right. Thanks, Blitzerg.
Yeah. Thank you for casting, Sai.
Absolutely. And good luck to your team, and good luck to everyone else throughout the season. That's it for the draft. Thanks for watching, and let us know what you think of the teams and everything in the comments. Signing off for Zealot Hockey, this is Sly. Have a great night, everyone.